Imagine this. An emergency alarm starts blaring right now. What do? Do you freeze? Do you just start running? Do you look around trying to figure out what's going on? That split-second decision, it can make all the difference. But what if you didn't have to guess? What if there was a clear, coordinated plan that just kicked into gear instantly?
So how do you actually pull off a successful evacuation? We found a fantastic real-world example in the emergency plan from Arbutus College. We're going to break it down and see exactly how it turns potential chaos into a life-saving procedure. It always starts with a sound, right? That's the moment a totally normal day ends and an emergency begins. But for a prepared organization, that's also the moment a well-rehearsed plan springs into action.
And the hero of this story is the Emergency Management Plan, or EMP. You can think of it as the script for safety. It's this document that tells everybody exactly what to do, who's in charge, and where to go, making sure you get a coordinated response instead of, a panicked free-for-all.
So what actually kicks this whole thing off? What I find really interesting here is the distinction they make. A fire alarm? That's an automatic trigger. No questions asked, no hesitation, everybody gets out. But for other things, like an earthquake, a specific person in charge makes the judgment call. That little difference is actually crucial for making sure you have the right response.
Okay, the alarm is ringing. Now what? Well, the entire system really depends on what every single person does in those first critical 60 seconds.
And these are the universal rules. Number 1 is probably the hardest, but it's the most important. Remain calm. From there, it's all about orderly action. Find the nearest exit, walk, don't run, and help out anyone who might need it. And that last step is key. Don't just wander out of the building. You have to go directly to the designated meeting place.
But here's the thing. Your responsibility doesn't actually start when the alarm rings. It starts today. The plan makes it super clear that everyone is expected to educate themselves. Do you know your evacuation routes? Do you know where your meeting place is? That knowledge, right there, is your most powerful safety tool.
So while everyone is focused on getting themselves out safely, a specialized team is activating behind the scenes. These are the wardens, the designated leaders who make sure the system actually works and that nobody gets left behind.
I just love this clear division of labor. Think of it like this. The Chief Warden is the general, right? They're seeing the big picture, making the call to 911, talking to the fire department. Meanwhile, you've got the area wardens, and they're like the sergeants on the ground. They're executing the plan, sweeping the floors, and guiding people directly. It's a really smart two-tiered approach.
Let's dig into the Chief Warden's role for a sec. At Arbutus, that's Dr. Alfredo Vasquez. He's not just a director. In an emergency, he is the incident commander. He makes the official call to evacuate, he calls 911, and then he becomes the single point of contact for the firefighters. This is so important because it prevents confusion and gets first responders the info they need fast.
At the exact same time, the area wardens are on the move. They throw on their high-vis vests and start a methodical sweep. They're not just shouting, "Get out." No, they're checking every single space, bathrooms included, and they're doing critical things like closing doors to help slow down a potential fire.
And here's another really cool layer to this system. Instructors are empowered to be wardens for their own classrooms. They grab a vest and a follow me sign, and in that instant, they go from being teachers to guides, responsible for leading their students all the way to safety. Okay, so everyone's outside. Great, but getting out of the building, that's just phase 1. The next critical stage happens out here, in the open air. This is where the evacuation shifts from just escaping to real accountability. Everyone is heading to one specific spot, the emergency meeting place. And this spot is so vital. It's way more than just a patch of grass. It's a predetermined safe zone that keeps people clear of any danger. And most importantly, it's the central hub for the two most critical next steps, communication and the headcount. And that brings us to the final, and probably the most tense part of the whole process. The job isn't done until every single person has been accounted for. You can see it's another clear chain of command. Instructors count their specific students. Then they report that number up to the area warden at the meeting spot. That warden does a total count of everyone there and then reports the final tally up to the Chief Warden. It's a systematic way to make sure absolutely no one got missed.
This right here is the only number that matters. Not 99%, 100%. The entire system, everything we've just walked through, is designed to get to this number. Every single person safely out and accounted for.
And if they don't hit 100%,
Well, this quote from the official plan really underscores the stakes. If the head count comes up short, that information is immediately given to emergency services. This isn't just paperwork. This tells first responders that they might need to start a search and rescue inside that building. It is a life or death calculation.
And finally, once the danger has passed and officials have deemed the building safe, there's one last rule. Nobody re-enters until the all-clear is given. And that call can only come from one person, the Chief Warden. This prevents anyone from rushing back into a potentially dangerous situation.
So when you boil it all down, what makes this plan work so well? It really comes down to these core ideas. A crystal clear chain of command, very specific and defined roles, a centralized safe location, a rock-solid process for accountability, the head count, and maybe the most important piece, a culture of proactive self-education.
Which, of course, brings us back to you. After seeing how all these pieces fit together, from the first alarm all the way to the final head count, the real question is, does your school or your workplace have a plan this clear? Do you know your role in it? Because knowing that answer might just be the most important thing you learned today.